Hello, 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 and good morning, world. And welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode here with us on our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast as we embark upon what will be another great episode this morning. We thank you all for chopping it up with us, and we thank you in advance for a time that will be had. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left something, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place where the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we converse about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in to participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via our two Facebook pages, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, as well as additionally our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast Facebook page. You can also find us on Instagram at EMSTP underscore, again on IG at EMSTP underscore, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Jones, as well as our guests for that weekend. Today is April 5th of 2025, and we have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world, where we saw the NCAA Tournament Elite Eight take place on both the men and women's side, with a few excellent games and a lot of number one seeds making it to Final Four weekend on both the men and women's side. Even last night, we saw South Carolina in pretty impressive fashion take care of who is it, Texas. And then additionally, UCLA, they were angry, Jamar, that they were put as underdogs, but they perhaps should have been underdogs because UConn routed them.
Yep.
It had to have been one of the biggest Final Four defeats since South Carolina did it. And so UConn, I know you picked this team, and it's just like, man, the teams that you picking, Jamar, they are kicking everybody's ass right now. And so UConn on the women's side is just dominating, and it's the same for the men right now with Duke, who actually today have their Final Four matchup. We'll talk about that shortly. And so we saw the NCAA tournament. Now we have South Carolina versus UConn for the national championship. We picked that last weekend, and so we'll see what happens with that. Additionally, we would see some great NBA basketball played in a very crowded Western Conference, and which after this week, the Golden State Warriors has opened tremendous, I would say just opened a lot of eyes. And now you can legitly, if someone says that Golden State is the second best team in the West, I don't blame them. And if they say that they're a serious threat in taking out an OKC Thunder, I don't blame them either. Additionally, we will see some other great NBA games take place, but there's a lot of crowdedness in the Western Conference, and we are down to our final week in the NBA season, bro. The NBA playoffs is next week, and so a lot of people, a lot of teams have a lot to play for at this point. It's a great time of the year. And additionally, we will see the MLB season kickoff, confusing fans for two reasons. Number one, because the White Sox, bro, actually won that first game in dominant fashion, which shocked the hell out of everybody because we was wondering like, wow. But then we have now seen the White Sox, bro, come back down to earth again, and they are 2-5. And then the second reason is some teams starting with games. They started with regular season games like the Cubs, and then went to preseason games. And then you look at the Google and it said exhibition. You're like, how the hell is this an exhibition when they just played a regular game? And so with that being said, introducing our brother from another mother and my partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Mr. Jamar Goodman, good morning, sir. How are you?
And I'm doing all right. I mean, we in the thick of things here when it comes to the basketball world. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So pleasure to have you, bro. As always, been rocking with you, man.
Pleasure's all mine. Matter of fact, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. I look a little whack in this screen. My face a little fat. I need to been eating a lot, you know.
Man,
But
eating a
outside,
lot.
yeah, man, look at my face, bro. I need to slow down on the cereals.
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
You know
but
me,
you be hitting
Jamar. I
the
could be
gym all the time though.
a little extra. I do, man. But just because you hit the gym, bro, don't mean that you don't get fat. Sometimes it depends on how much you eat. So to our viewers out there, make sure that you have a proper balance with your diet because you can't outwork. You cannot outwork. I don't care how much you work. You can't outwork bad eating.
That's
You
facts.
know, right? And so, anywho, y'all, sorry for that ADHD moment. Let us get back to what really matters. We're talking sports here, right? And so, Jamar, bro, we seen what happened in the NCAA tournament, and now, bro, we are down to the final weekend. And so, as we head into this final weekend, your Duke Blue Devils are doing great. They have been dominating thus far, but they got Houston come today. I'm pretty sure I know who you got for that game. But how is your bracket faring out so far? How many teams did you pick to make it to the Final Four that actually made it? Are all four of the teams that you picked? So go ahead, bro. Talk to us about your bracket.
All right, so just so everybody know, I did end up making not one, but I made two brackets, two.
Mm-hmm.
Now the one that I definitely had that I've been on the bandwagon of Duke the whole time. See
Mm-hmm.
that one's a little interesting. Um, so I have in that main one I have two out the final four, which is Duke and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will say, the other bracket that I made that's pretty much within our group that still has surprisingly still has a chance to win this thing because our group is pretty tight. Like it can go
Mm.
a lot of different ways based on tonight's games. But
Right.
that bracket there, I don't know what I was thinking, but I did have Florida winning the whole thing. But I have three out of the final four. Do I? I think I have three out of the final four in this one. I think. Hold
For
on.
me, 3 out of 4. I didn't pick Duke. I
The only
picked
one
them
I
to lose
didn't.
to a SEC team.
Yeah, you picked them against to lose against Bama.
Right, exactly. They
I
blew
think
out Bama.
the only one I didn't pick is Auburn. And this one I got Florida, Duke, and Houston in that final four.
Auburn, man. I'm shocked you didn't pick Auburn, bro. They've been the
I'm
best team in college basketball all
and
season.
I'm still not sold. I'm still not
Mm,
sold on Auburn. I'm really not. Uh
okay.
I don't know. It just I mean, I understand that they're good and they have, you know, definitely have the strong argument for being the best team from start to finish this year. I'll give them that. I'm just not sold. Like I feel like Florida's a better team than Auburn. I feel like Alabama was a better team than Auburn in certain points. I know they are, definitely, creme de la creme within the best conference in basketball, but
That's true.
I
Definitely.
just personally for me, I don't see it. Like Alabama, I felt like was more of a threat than Auburn because Alabama could run it up. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
Florida is a bigger threat than Auburn because I've seen Florida backs against the wall a couple of times and just resilience. See, just keeps popping in like they will not go down. Like Texas Tech
Yeah.
should have got them.
Should have beat them in the
UConn
Elite Eight.
should have got them, but
Yep. They
yet
should have lost to UConn too.
dude, that is like the heart of a champion without actually having a championship. Like they
Right.
have the DNA for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I just
Mm-hmm.
want to know if Auburn was to get put in those same positions like Florida was, would they actually survive? So I'm curious to see how that game goes tonight.
Right. Right. So speaking of SEC, Auburn, right? They play Florida. And we ain't talking about NCAA football, y'all. We are talking NCAA college basketball, the NCAA tournament, and based off of the Arkeith, good morning, bro. How are you? How are you? How are you? Happy Saturday, bro. Pleasure. Yes, our boy down in Florida, Arkeith Shannon, rocking with the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. He posts his Gators, and so the Gators are in there, Florida. They play Auburn, and I think, bro, that these two schools are not too far from each other. Actually, they're about a 4-hour drive. Um, Literally, yeah, because Auburn is not too far from where my dad lived. It was
That's
about 30 minutes because he was in a town called Lynette, and Florida
yeah.
wasn't too far from there either.
I know where Lynette's at because that's right on the border of Georgia, off that interstate right there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, Auburn
Mm-hmm.
is not too far from the border of Georgia either. So
Right, and so
okay, that makes
it's
sense.
about a
Yeah.
4 to 5 hour drive from Gainesville. Yeah, and so and Auburn and the University of Alabama, bro, are very close. They damn near what, an hour and a half away from each other.
Dude, I keep so in the profession I work in, we do have a lot of people that's from that area, and I ask them like, how real is that that rivalry between Auburn and Alabama? It's like life or death down there. It is a
Mhm.
real thing. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
a real scenario for real.
for real, and they definitely close to each other. So, yeah, man. I'm with you though. I'm looking at Duke and I'm seeing them as like the best team thus far, and it hasn't been close. Man, I don't know if it maybe was the bracket or what, but they were great without Cooper Flag. By the way, congratulations to him on being the fourth freshman in NCAA college basketball history, on being the Naismith AP Player of the Year award winner, which means he is undisputedly the best college player in basketball. Second place, of course, came Mr. Broom from Auburn. And so, wouldn't it be such a fairy tale, Jamar, if we see Auburn versus Duke in the national championship? Now,
Ooh.
my national championship pick was actually in both of my brackets. I had Auburn in one, and I had Florida in the other. So for me, whoever wins this game will win the national championship, in my opinion. But right now, Duke looks like the best team. Shout out to Houston, by the way. We're not giving them no love right now, Jamar. They had a fantastic Elite Eight. Shout out to the great coaching from Calvin Sampson. He's a legendary Hall of Fame coach. I think we all know he knows what he's doing.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, right. And so it's going to be very interesting to see them match up against Duke. I think they got a tall task ahead of them. And I'm not talking about Duke. I'm talking about Houston. But for my national championship pick, my first bracket was Auburn versus Houston, and then my other one was Florida versus Alabama.
So you pretty much wasn't by default you wasn't a believer of Duke getting this far. Um,
I thought
so
Duke would lose in the Elite Eight.
to Bama, you thought
Yeah.
Bama will run them out the gym.
No, I thought I knew it would be close. I thought it would be close. I just like the shooters for Bama. They got a lot of shooters, and so I thought that they would get hot in that game and pull off what would have been actually a upset, because Duke has been picked more than for sure more than Alabama to win the national championship.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
you know.
No, I'm with you on that. So between just Duke and Houston, my question is for Houston. So I had the so when we was talking about it last week, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week when we talking about Duke and Alabama, like my concern for Alabama
Mhm.
was going against the length of Duke, because there's nobody shorter than 6'5" in that Duke starting lineup, and so making shots for Alabama, even though the game before they had a historic night, I feel like it would have been a little bit more, you know, the path to victory would have been a lot harder. because of that, and it came into fruition, especially in the second half. So, but now my concern for Houston against Duke is so, to my understanding, Houston's like the number one defense in college, but
Yeah,
like Duke
that sounds like a
has
Calvin Sampson team.
yeah, but Duke's offense is definitely elite. So I don't know if Houston gets down, I don't know if they have enough firepower to get back. Because Duke's defense isn't bad at all. Like Duke is pretty good on both sides of the ball.
Right.
And we've seen it, especially in the second half of games. Like the first half, it seemed like a filler out period between the two teams, and then Duke makes the adjustments with Shire, and then all of a sudden in the second half, they just turn it up a notch, and it's like the other teams cannot recover. We've seen it against Baylor. We've seen it against Bama. So
they turn up the heat in the second half, sort of like NBA championship teams do, like the Warriors. Like you know how they do in the NBA. They play with you in the first half, let you, oh yeah, we're doing good. Then that third quarter hit, then they blitz your ass, and then they create separation. This is what Duke does. Like this is what Duke does. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they do. And I'm watching it, and I'm saying to myself, wow. The only thing is, this is a young basketball team, but this kid Cooper, this kid Brown, Johnson, like they are very mature to be so young. And I'm looking at Houston, and they got players from the transfer. They got some vets on that team. Calvin Sampson won't have a lot of freshmen running around on his squad unless they like a Cooper Flag. You see my point? He got a lot of veterans on that team with a mix of young talent. And I'm wondering, the question I have is Duke, if they get down, do they have the maturity to balance against Houston, a veteran team? That's the question I have.
That's a good question, because you mentioned it. I want to say you mentioned a couple minutes ago that Duke has not been tested. And to be honest, they haven't really been tested the whole year. I mean, granted, they lost 3 games, but they haven't really been tested. They've been on the more so the side of, we blowing you to bleep out. Like, these games not even close.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, can Houston really test them? That means Houston's defense is going to disrupt Duke's offense to a certain point, to where, like, Cooper Flag, if Cooper Flag drops 20, it's going to be a very hard 20 to get. If Concanoppo drops 20, it's going to be a very hard 20 to get. If Proctor hits, 5 threes, it's going to be a very hard 5 threes to get. Like, everything's got to be very difficult. The pace will have to slow down, because I feel like Duke can play in the half court. Duke can play an up tempo pace. Duke can definitely run in transition. We've seen their defense turn into offense. They have a lot of gritty players. There's not too many, if anything, any real weaknesses with this Duke team. So it's like Houston would have to play perfect. That experience that you're talking about, they don't have a lot of freshmen playing or whatnot. They have upperclassmen. And that's usually been Sampson's, formula for the last, 4 or 5 years. Like, he has the experienced teams, and we know in NCAA tournaments, experienced teams usually make the deeper runs. The one that's mature, that can handle the moments, that can be resilient, things of that nature. That one that can hit free throws in crunch time, clutch moments, like composure, like all those ingredients matter. And yet, Houston is here. We are, but they're going against, like you said, a young team that is so poised, that is so confident, that is so that can execute at a very high level. It's tough, and a generational talent on the team. So once again, it goes back to the question: can Houston have enough offense to keep up? Because I know defense is elite, but Duke's offense is elite as well. And if Duke gets up 10-15, can Houston come back? because I mean, heck, Houston has did their thing against Tennessee. I didn't expect them to win the way that in that fashion they did, but they did. And the only team in this tournament that really has tested Houston is my Purdue team, and I'm still a little mad about that. But nevertheless, that's my question. Can Houston keep up with Duke if Duke starts laying the hammer on them at any point in time? That's my question.
Right. And to sit there and think like Purdue, man, that one stings. But I love to see now that we know for sure that Purdue has a very competitive program, and that we don't have to worry no more, Jamar, that it's going to be a program that's just going to wash away. They're there to stay as long as Matt Payne is there. And so I really like the competitive nature of the team. They got a couple guys that probably could be in the NBA G League, so they can at least get some trials and stuff. Always got great guard play for Purdue. And so I'm very optimistic on that end. But Houston, we'll see. My national championship pick based off of the current teams that we have, bro, is Duke versus Florida. And I still got Florida coming out as the national champion.
That's the matchup I want to see, Duke and Florida. I feel like that would be fireworks.
Right. I'm with you. That'd be primetime TV. And so on the other hand, bro, let's talk the women's side. And so South Carolina, they beat up on Texas last night. And we began to see just how strong South Carolina is, pretty much on a down year, Jamar. Nobody talked about South Carolina really all year. Nobody really had national championship expectations for South Carolina when the season started. Yes, preseason, yes. But once they lost a couple of them games and they got routed, right, they got routed by UConn this year, and they got routed by UCLA, South Carolina. But yet and still, they found a way to make the national championship. And so I know you've been rolling with UConn, but I guess that's more evidence for you to ride with UConn. You got UConn, right, coming out. And just to confirm, because I think South Carolina go upset them. I really do.
So I do have UConn winning, but I would be a liar and say that my heart wasn't with South Carolina. Like, I always want, Don Staley to triumph and win. I really do. I just feel like Paige Beckers is definitely on a mission here, and she want to be part of the greats of that historic, very long list of names that come out of UConn on the women's side. So
with a national championship, though,
that would put her in that company for sure.
Right. And so yes, you got UConn. As for me, I got South Carolina. And so we'll see what happens on the women's side. But congrats to Don Staley on getting to a national championship, and which honestly a lot of people did not expect for that team to even make it out of the Final Four. So they made it out and then a national championship again. And so that's really, really good. Shout out to South Carolina. But also shout out to Paige Beckers and that UConn team. She has been busting people's ass, bro. Like just putting up monster numbers. She has clearly sent the message that she want that natty, bro. She like, that's the only thing missing on my resume. Like that's it. That's the only thing missing on our resume, bro. That's it.
In all seriousness, you're right. I mean, she is the undisputed number one draft pick that's coming out this year. I mean, she even battled adversity coming back from an ACL injury early in her career, and just reminding people, I think last year of, did y'all forget about me? Did you all really forget about me? I was supposed to be.
They did.
The second coming. They did. During her injury time, Caitlin Clark, took over. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese took over. But then she came back like, y'all forgot about me. So here I am to finish my journey and get to the league.
Right.
So this is where we at.
Right. Exactly. And so shout out to Paige Beckers, man. She been killing it. And so we highly intrigued, man, to watch the national championship tomorrow. Um, Gonna see what happened with that one. Generally, national championship, I know it take place tomorrow, right, for the women in the afternoon. So should be Sunday afternoon. And for the men's, that'll be Monday night. And so let's get to the NBA playoff scenarios. Bro, Golden State Warriors. I just got to get straight to it. The Golden State Warriors, Jamar, they looking like not only for me that they could win the Western Conference, and that would include beating OKC. I think they could beat Boston. I really do. And the fact that here's Draymond Green. I mean, the fact that here not only Draymond Green, the Defensive Player of the Year candidate, him and Zubac. We're gonna talk about the NBA awards shortly, bro. But just the defensive prowess. He don't even have to really score, Jimmy Butler. But if he need to, he will. But he ain't got to because he got Steph Curry, he got Pozinski, he got all these other guys that can do that. He got Buddy Hield, he got Kuminga, he got Moody. He can score when he need to. The Warriors, bro. I know this ain't a popular opinion on the early. I know this ain't a popular opinion in the world, but I think the Warriors could beat everybody, and that includes the Boston Celtics. I might be a little crazy here, but damn it, they tough. They tough. With Steph Curry, man, bro, he make me want to go to the gym and just run cardio all my life because, bro, define like age. He out here looking like he 15 and he about 38. But bro, he might have a championship on the way it's looking.
No,
I don't know if nobody can beat them in a 7-game series, Jamar. That's gonna be a tough task.
It is. It really is, bro. Look, I know you said Draymond Green's a candidate for defensive player of the year. I think he wins that award. And that says a lot. This team gives you the what was it? 20, was it the 22 year? Or the 23, 22 when they won? It gives you those vibes. It really do. And it's crazy because before the trade happened, I think they was 11th in the West. 11th.
Yeah.
And after the trade, they're the 5th seed, but they're literally a game behind the 3rd seed right now. They've been on a 5-game winning streak, beating the likes of Denver last night.
They're gonna catch them.
Oh, and then the Lakers the other night. And I think they got Houston next. And look, they went 4-2 on their 6-game road trip, and I think they only lost 5 games since they traded for Jimmy Butler. They 22-5 or something like that, something ridiculous.
But when they have their starting lineup, I think they're 13-0 now with Draymond Green, with Steph Curry, with Kuminga, with Pozinski, and
it's not Pozinski. It's it's not
Pozinski.
No. It's Pozinski. It's not Kuminga. It's Moody.
Okay, it's Butler in the starting lineup. So Butler, Green, Curry, Moody,
Pozinski, and those 5.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay, right. When all 5 of them start, they 13-0.
Which is
so that's another stat. That's another stat.
It is. That means you can bring somebody like Kuminga off the bench, who is a high level. I ain't gonna say high level scorer, but he can definitely get buckets. He can definitely do that when he's actually like playing within himself and playing confident and motivated. He is a difference.
He's cold. Maker. He cold. He like one of those babies that was growing up like Michael Porter Jr. was for years. And you like, man, when you watch him in the eye test, you're like, damn, he can hoop. He can hoop. Yeah. You know? And so you got him, you got Pozinski too, but then Buddy Hield ain't he not the worst guy in the world to come off the bench.
No, not at all. And then our guy that we mentioned last week, Quentin Post, the big guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. It's like he plays with a chip on his shoulder, like he got something to prove, and he does. He does,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives them an element
Mm-hmm.
that they haven't had in. I don't really think they even had an element like this before in their runs. A big that can stretch the floor. They never really had that before.
They never really had that. The last time they had that, bro, maybe was Maurice Spates.
Yeah, and that was early in it. That was the babyface assassin years right there.
Yeah, that was 7, 8 years ago.
Dang, we getting old, but yeah, nevertheless, yeah,
Actually,
this
eight or
team
nine. 8 or 9.
was that
He
2016.
got 2016, 2017. That was his last season with them.
So yeah, man, yeah. I don't think you're crazy. The Warriors continue to gather evidence. You know, I definitely used to use that term evidence. We need evidence here, and they have put up a lot of evidence, and I think it's enough sample size at this point to let us know that this is a real thing. And if I'm Oklahoma City, just like a lot of other teams want to avoid Oklahoma City into the conference finals, if I'm Oklahoma City, I wouldn't avoid the Warriors into the conference finals as well. I would not want to see them after in the second round on the 4-5 matchup. I would not want to see the Warriors that soon. I would not. So I feel
This
like it
is
should go both
interesting.
ways.
Man, but this is interesting, bro, because I know Lakers fan, LeBron fans, they like, oh man, all that matters for LeBron is the seeding. He got to get the right seeding. And it's interesting because how crowded these teams are, bro. We could very well see Golden State and OKC in the second round, which would then open up the likes of a team like a LeBron, who we know gonna turn into a different human being come later this month. And I guess that also brings up further evidence, bro, of what we've been saying for the longest, that with the West is going to depend on seeding.
Yeah.
Who is matched up against who.
And it's definitely still not a foregone conclusion because, heck, seeds 3 through 8 are separated by 2 games.
Right.
In the same light that we can talk about the Warriors and the Lakers right now that's currently at the 3 seed, heck, they could fall all the way down to the 8 seed before it's all said and done and find themselves in the play. That's how crazy this is right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't even look at it as records saying, oh, these teams are mediocre, they're average. These are good teams. It's just a crowded Western Conference.
It is. Heck, Memphis was so high up there not too long ago. What, 2 weeks ago? Right. They was like the 3rd seed. They're the 8th seed right now. The 8th. The freaking 8th seed. And we just saw them just tear out the hearts of Miami with Ja Morant's game winner the other night. So it's like just for them to be the 8th seed right now.
Right. Now they are falling because they fired their head coach right in the midst of a playoff run. But I hope that Memphis bounces back next season. But I would tell you what, bro, if Memphis were to get that A seed and they play OKC, I would want to see that series. I would want to see that series. And so the West is going to be hella interesting. It's going to be hella interesting. I don't think the Mavericks or whoever the 10th seed is, I don't know if it's Phoenix or who.
Sacramento.
Okay. I know it's Sacramento and Phoenix. But Sacramento, they got it at this point. Phoenix, it seemed like they done threw in the towel at this point. What a disappointment with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, for me, is overrated now at this point. He washed up for me, Jamar. Bradley Beal, and then KD, and then Devin Booker, who has been ghostly quiet since Kevin Durant has arrived there. We have not seen the old Devin Booker that we know. I don't know why, but what a disappointment for that team. We were expecting them to be somewhere where Houston was or the Lakers was, but they just never worked out.
I find it like, dude, Kevin Durant's story is so fascinating and perplexed at the same time. Like, he is without a doubt an all-time great, without a doubt. But
some people got him top 10. I debate.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, me neither.
Top 15, top 20 for sure. Maybe top 15, maybe
Yeah,
somewhere.
right.
But it's like two questions here. Like where would he be without going to Golden State right now? And has his career, or more so his legacy, changed after leaving Golden State, since it hasn't been the same? Like all-time great, but forever coming up short
Right.
one way or another. Like, you are part of these things, your fault or not. You are you know, your name would be remembered with these teams, like the Brooklyn saga. Like, that did not go as it should have went. The 1 year that you had the chance, I mean, ain't nobody tell your big toe to be on the line against Milwaukee.
Man, bro, but that's crazy though, because they would have went to the final. They probably would have won it.
That was the best, like,
The best
chance they
chance
had
he ever had outside of Golden State.
Correct.
And that even includes OKC. That was
Yeah.
the best chance he had.
And so it all went down here when you got swept by the Boston Celtics that year. That wasn't even fully
The following
ready.
year. Right.
They weren't even ready yet. The Boston Celtics were still in the lab, still, you know, still in the
Growing
oven.
up.
Yep.
Right.
They weren't ready yet, and they swept you. And then you come to Phoenix, and I don't even remember anything memorable about the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant on the team. I don't. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
only thing I remember is a game winner. That's it.
Against who?
I can't think of nothing else. I don't know. I don't remember.
it's like we could just get an eraser and just erase the Phoenix Suns out of the whole legacy. Like, I don't remember jack-ish about him in this Phoenix Suns era. I don't. And that's how bad it's been. So those are my two questions. It's so interesting and perplexed at the same time. His story is going to be one of a kind to tell. That's a 30 for 30 within itself.
And I'm looking at just what you're saying, and I'm thinking in my head, the only reason I would put KD in that all-time great top 15 is because we know that whoever in those top 15 that's above him, top 20, whoever, we know that if they played him one-on-one, they couldn't stop him, whoever it is. We know that Kevin Durant's going to get his points on any human being. It doesn't matter who it is. You can even put Victor Wembanyama on him. He's still going to get his buckets because of that length. That's just how great he is offensively. And so that's the biggest reason I would put him there, bro, is because I know if he were to go one-on-one against anybody, any of those top 15 guys, that includes LeBron, MJ, whoever, he going to get his buckets on them. I don't care who it is, what era, what time, what day, whenever, period. But these other things you mentioned, it brings up very important questions for his legacy. And Stephen A. Smith just stated he was the top 10 player all time. I highly disagree. But I could put him somewhere in the top 15, top 20. And the reason being is he doesn't have enough championships for me. He doesn't have enough evidence outside of that Golden State team.
Evidence. That's that key word, evidence. He might be a top 10 talent all time, but resume wise,
we can say that.
It's not there. 15, 20, somewhere. He's definitely not outside the top 20 for me. He earned that right. But
right. He's not top 10. Top 15, top 10.
Maybe one day we can sit here and debate that. But yeah, he's somewhere in there.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, right. And so, yeah, bro. Okay. And so with the NBA playoff scenarios, we see what's happened with that. So based off of the question that I've been asking you consistently, just want to ask you one more time, and this is your opportunity before the NBA playoffs begin. Do you feel that OKC right now, based off of what you've seen this past week, do you feel that OKC is still the undisputed favorite for the Western Conference?
I don't know about undisputed favorite, but I feel like they're still the favorite. I don't think about the undisputed part because, I mean, we just sat here and talked about the Golden State Warriors. for a few minutes here and what we've been seeing, and we kind of feel like we didn't even talk about it, but when we saw the schedule this week and saw who they was going up against, like this would have been the ultimate test to let us know that would gave us some verification of
right.
what kind of
Some
team
evidence.
Yes, the evidence. Bingo. And so, heck, they go into cryptocurrency, whatever the dang name of that arena is, and beat the Lakers. I was about to call it cryptocurrency. Beating Denver on a back-to-back.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
then also they got Houston.
They got Houston next. And what is that? Sunday?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think they beat Houston.
I think so too. And I think they're currently on a 5-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. Yep. 5-game winning streak, yes.
7 out of 7-3 in their last 10.
A lot of those 3 losses was without like Steph Curry. Right.
It was one against Miami. I think one against Orlando or something. Mm-hmm. They was doing that 6-game road trip where they went 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. Yeah, OKC not undisputed favorites. I think they're still favorites, but can't ignore Golden State. I feel like depending on matchups, probably can't ignore the Lakers or Denver. But I mean, I don't know that. I feel like the gap is closing on this favorite thing. Mm-hmm. It's closing.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes. And so I'm going to ask you this, Jamar. People might not be ready for this question, but we ask questions on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast that might be a little ahead of its time. Based off of what we have seen from Steph Curry and what he's been doing with this Golden State Warriors team, I just want to ask a question. If the Golden State Warriors were to win and Steph Curry were to win his 5th championship, do you begin to include Steph Curry above LeBron James in the GOAT conversation? People ain't ready for it, but I think you do.
I feel like if he knocks at the door to enter the room, I feel like you have to open the door and let him in. I feel like you can't ignore it because it's not like, but like here's probably the strongest caveat for him in this conversation. It's not like, he was in the era before LeBron or after LeBron. It's in the same era. You're playing at the same time as LeBron. That's the thing. That's the thing for me.
Took championships from him. Took championships clean out of his hand.
Yes, and he came in the league after LeBron. Mm-hmm. And playing in the same era, and he ends up with 5, and you only got 4. Like I get it. LeBron been 10, 11, 10, whatever, and he's been there and he's done this. He done a lot of great things. You cannot deny the talent and accomplishments that LeBron has done. However, LeBron's only year 22 and he has 4. Curry, year 16, 7? I don't remember anymore. He came in 09, so do the math. That's what, 16?
15.
Year 6?
Yeah, 16.
And he would win 5. I mean, that's almost a 33% clip to less than 20% clip. So just doing quick math. I mean, I know championships ain't everything, but if we talking about having that conversation about GOAT debates and stuff like that, you cannot ignore it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he was to win the finals, he would probably win finals MVP, and that'd be his 2nd one. And we talked about like the longest thing that was missing for Curry's resume before that Boston one was the finals MVP. And that one right there was so essential to his legacy. Because at that point, remember, people was putting him in the top 10 all time, putting him as the greatest point guard of all time. Like that win did it. And so if he was to win this year, how can you ignore the conversation? How can you ignore it? Like, is he at that point, is he undisputedly the greatest point guard of all time? Does he pass Magic?
Like, for me, yes. I think he's past Magic already.
Yeah, but there's still a debate. But is he undisputed? Like there's like no contest. Like it's a wrap on that.
Right. Right, but and this is what we do on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We ask these questions. Why would we not put him in the GOAT conversation if he win number 5? And the biggest evidence will be who does what he do? Who can do what he do? Nobody.
No.
Nobody. Not even Michael Jordan. You can't.
No.
Undisputedly the greatest shooter of all time, but could we begin to put this guy maybe as one of the greatest scorers of all time? One of the greatest point guards of all time, the greatest handlers of all time. I mean, that man be shaking and baking people like crazy, having people just fall and flipping everywhere. Like, we need to look at this stuff with Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I feel like he be disrespected sometimes. And I don't know why they want to disrespect this man. But if he get that 5th championship, people need to seriously start looking at him and start talking about him above LeBron James as the greatest or one of the greatest. Because that stated can't nobody do what that man can do. Nobody. And I don't think nobody on that list can stick him in a one-on-one. Nobody. Maybe a prime LeBron. Maybe. But if Steph Curry if he get open, he gonna clean you up. Period. And that's just it.
I don't know. I don't know about that one because I think a prime Kobe and a prime Jordan could give him problems, but that's another debate.
Okay, no, okay. I agree with you. Prime Kobe, prime LeBron, prime MJ would be hawks on Steph Curry. But my whole point is that if they leave his ass open for 3 seconds, he will make Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron pay. Ask LeBron, he know already. He'll make all 3 of them pay severely. That's just my point.
No, I agree with you on that, and I do feel like there has been disrespect. I mean, we can go back towards when the Cleveland Warriors saga for those 4 years or whatnot, because that was 4 straight finals they went against each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so he was getting disrespect then. Like, I feel like during that time, especially after the 2016 where LeBron and the Cavs won, like at that point, it felt like LeBron couldn't be touched. He was invincible. Curry, you're not this, like you're not clutch. That whole narrative, that was a whole non-clutch narrative on Curry for the longest time. And then I think he eventually wiped that away. And then, well, Curry, you couldn't do it without KD. But the rebuttal was, well, we beat LeBron before KD, but LeBron didn't have Love and Kyrie Irving, and so okay. And so that's when I feel like the shackles came off his feet when they beat Boston and that narrative. That I feel like a lot of that stuff went away, and I feel like the appreciation for Steph Curry went through the roof. And then we just saw it this past summer. Like, if anybody ever mentioned him and Clutch not in the same sentence, watch what he did in the Olympics. Just see that. And the last 2 games, the semifinals where they needed him to win to get to the finals, and then what he did in the finals to shut up the world and put everybody to bed with the night. So yeah, that happens. I mean, him winning the 5th one, I think that breaks. I think that how they say in the movies there's a 4th wall, and that pretty much interacts with the actual audience type deal. I feel like this will break the 4th wall. I feel like you can no longer, hold any type of narratives over this man anymore. You just can't do it. You just can't. You have to eliminate all disrespect from Steph Curry. You have to appreciate his greatness, just like any LeBron fans would appreciate LeBron's greatness, any Jordan fans that would appreciate Jordan's greatness, any Kobe fans that would appreciate Kobe's greatness. You have to just stop all the BS and appreciate this man and put him in that conversation. Stop it.
Yes. This is why we asked the question. This is why the question was asked on our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Steph Curry deserves respect. And if he gets that 5th championship, I know the world might not be ready for it. I know the world might not be ready to hear this, but we should really begin to look at Steph Curry. Stephen Curry, as number 2 all time, if not number 1.
And and
the reason why is because they can't do what he can do. They just can't.
I mean,
I don't know what player has revolutionized basketball more than Michael Jordan and Steph Curry at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and if we went back before that, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain to a certain degree for their impact on the game that got it to this point, but still, like the actual impact on the game, because when we saw Steph Curry when he first came on the scene and when he won in 2015 as the babyface assassin, all of a sudden, if you go to your local gym to go play basketball, you see everybody shooting it from 30 like it's nothing. Everybody wanted to be Steph Curry because being Steph Curry in reality is probably more likely to happen as opposed to being a physical specimen of LeBron James that you could never be. So that's why you get all these kids in AAU pulling up from 30 like it's nothing because they all want to be Steph Curry.
It's going to be a hell of a debate, man, because as a kid, when I was growing up, I wanted to be like LeBron. He was the reason why I would bulk up, lift weights, do this, do that, do that. So we got a comment that says he definitely becomes top 5. I don't know. He's top 5 for me already.
I don't think I have him in my top 5 right now. He's definitely top 10 for me. I ain't got him in my top 5, but I do agree with that comment, but I also get where you're coming from too, Brandon.
Right, because I view him as the greatest point guard of all time.
So yeah, I get you on that.
That's why he would hit the top 5 at number 5 for me.
I got a question for you though, but this piggybacks off of Curry. I mean, pretty much who's Draymond Green is Draymond Green, but the other person that's in this equation, Steve Kerr. Now, I think there was a lot of disrespect with Steve Kerr because he took Mark Jackson's team and got him over him. That was the initial narrative. And you got it, you did it with these super teams. But then to beat Boston and to have the balls to bench Draymond Green in that series because he wasn't playing like he should and made the adjustments for them to win. What if Kerr, with Curry get this 5th ring? How do you view Steve Kerr at that point?
Man, number 1 would be Phil Jackson. Nobody has touched him yet. You got some other coaches prior to Phil Jackson that they might argue, like Red Auerbach. That's way before a lot of our time, but he was one of the GOATs as well. He was the GOAT before Phil Jackson. Then you put Greg, what he did in San Antonio. Then you got to look at, Steve Kerr. I don't know if he's not there already, Jamar. Now, you got Phil. You got, for me, Greg, this is my generation. Okay, I'm not going to get all into Red Auerbach because I don't know him like that. But for my generation, yes, number 1 is Phil. Number 2 is Greg. And then right there, that tough one is, I would say yes, Steph. I will say Steve Kerr. But if he get number 5, do you put him above Greg? Or could we say that that's a tie? Because both of, because Greg was great too. Damn it, he was.
So pretty much that's the student versus the teacher at that point. That's exactly what that scenario is.
And hold on, Jamar, I'm going to get my charger right here, bro. But I can listen to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's like, if people don't, there may be some people don't realize, but Steve Kerr before he ended up retiring, he played under Greg Popovich. He learned probably his coaching. He
played in San Antonio.
Yes, he probably.
He won a championship with them in 03, right? Didn't he win a championship with them?
I want to say yes.
You gotta Google that, but I thought he won in 03.
Well, let's fact check that real quick. But But yeah, Steve Kerr has been on record saying he learned a lot from Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich.
Right.
And that's a student versus teacher moment, and I guess in the likes of both of them. So that's and I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure a great teacher would always want the student to end up surpassing them. Like if you have your student as the past the teacher, I feel like your job is done as a teacher to that individual.
Yeah. Steve Kerr won 2 with the Spurs, bro.
99 and was it 99 and 03 or 03 05?
I'm not sure the years, but I know he won 2 with them. And I know he definitely left the Bulls after 98.
So it probably
was he on that 99 team? Because I thought Avery Johnson, Mario Elliott, I remember all of them being the shooters. Steve
Hmm.
Kerr was on that 03 squad, and I think maybe that
So
05,
what the heck was Steve Kerr?
maybe that 03.
Hold on.
I'm Googling it right now.
Same here. Yeah, he was on 99 to 01, and then he was on the 02, 03.
Okay. So 99 team, the 01 team.
He was 99 through 01, 99, 2000, 2001. He was on that team. Then he went to the Blazers from 2001 to 2002, and then he came back to the Spurs 2002, 2003. So and finished his career.
Yep. I see. Yep. Yeah, I see.
So
yep.
heck, he actually won 4 straight titles at one point. The 3P with the Bulls, and then the Spurs right after that. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so he was on that team. I didn't see him a lot in the playoffs that year, and I know you know that, Jamar, because we both was kids, but we still was watching sports a lot as kids.
Yeah, it was definitely
Mario. I don't recall him. It was Mario Elliott, Avery Johnson, Elliott.
Mario Eli.
You know, Mario Eli. Couple of those other guys.
Duncan Robinson.
Right. And so
yeah, they
but I know he was very instrumental in that 03 team, because I remember him knocking down a number of clutch 3-pointers, him and Steven Jackson during that season.
Bruh. Captain Jack. Oh man.
Captain Jackson, yeah, man. I remember that as a shorty. And so yeah, man. But I mean, I think when you look at Steve Kerr, man, he right there with Greg Popovich. And if he win another championship, I mean, man, you got to put him. That's going to be a hell of a debate. It's a debate I ain't even ready for, because I got to fact check a lot with that
one. But it's one of those to where, it's in the same. Like I think him and Curry is like in the same boat. Like it was a lot of disrespect on them for a number of years. I feel like the win against Boston definitely got rid of a lot of that, but I feel like they win another one that would do it, because of the fact that it's at that point it's 4 different iterations of the team that they went through. The first one before Kevin Durant, when it was just the shooters, it was pretty much Steph and Clay and Sprinkle and Draymond Green that won that one. And of course the Kevin Durant era with the Splash Brothers. The one against Boston, to where Draymond wasn't the same at that time. Klay Thompson definitely wasn't the same. It was Steph Curry and that show. Wiggins, and them. And then this one here, what a completely revamped roster. Like the little kids grew up with Kuminga and Moody, Przinski that came out of nowhere, that's been balling. Draymond Green, who revamped himself as a defensive player of the year out of nowhere. He said he's not as quick as anybody else. He said, I have to outsmart them, outthink them. And that's what you're seeing right there with a bunch of guys. It'd be amazing. And Jimmy Butler, like that's 4 different iterations. Like at some point,
that's greatness.
Yes, you just gotta respect it. Like you cannot deny that.
Right. Absolutely. And so I know it's a very unpopular question here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, but if Steph Curry were to get that 5th championship, where do we put Steph? Does he go above LeBron? And from there, we could begin to debate him and Jordan. And I know that'll piss people off. It will piss people off. But once again, we talking about people that revolutionized the game. And what player can we argue, Jamar, that has revolutionized the game, arguably outside of Michael Jordan, more than Steph Curry? So just a thought. And so, yes. And so with that being said, bro, wow, what a great conversation. I know we talked about our NCAA tournament. Hey, you guys see that link, support the screen. We appreciate your support. And so, bro, just curious, man, any final thoughts or shout outs, bro, as we head into the weekend?
Man, Yeah, a couple things. So, look, this is a sport that we probably don't talk about as much, but this is one of those to where if you were a fan of sports, you would expect greatness. Everybody know who the great one is, Wayne Gretzky. And if you've been somewhat hovering over the sports world in the last 20 years, you probably heard of the name Alex Ovechkin. And so shout out to Alex Ovechkin for tying Wayne Gretzky last night for the most goals in NHL history. I think 894.
3.
893. My mistake.
So one picture I saw 893, and then one I saw 894. It's one of the damn.
So I know he had 2 goals last night, but I know ultimately he ended up tying him.
I know that too.
So I believe the next game he's gonna get it done. Over hell and high water, he's gonna get that goal. And so shout out to him. The baseball season, like the fact that I'm back watching. I'm not boycotting baseball no more. I'm not boycotting my White Sox. And hey, like my White Sox suck, but hey, the rest of the AL Central suck too. So we got a chance. The best team is 3-4.
White Sox were right. They were in first place a couple days ago. I was shocked.
Yesterday, the whole division was tied at 2-4 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
we got a chance, Brady. We got a chance. But heck, the Dodgers got their first loss yesterday.
Right. Oh wow, they did. Okay. And somebody else got their first loss too. The Cubs. Shout out to the Cubs, bro. They gave the Padres their first loss yesterday at Wrigley.
You're right. Because at the point they was 7-0, but second in their division. Because at the time, the Dodgers are 8-0. Then you got the Giants that's 6-1, and the Diamondbacks that's 5-3. That whole division is going to be ridiculous.
As it always is. That's always one of the best divisions in baseball, bro. That's always a crowded division. Always.
It is. So I'm excited. Like, I know the game. I know baseball isn't the same to me as it was when I was growing up. And even though the 98 steroid era, I don't care. That got me, interested in baseball to begin with. And then,
that's how our generation got into baseball, bro. I only got in because number one was I was excited because the baseball steroid era helped me get in, but what got me in, Jamar, was the Yankees and Braves going back to back in those World Series.
Right.
And people was talking about it. I'm like, why they keep going back to back? Let me watch this. This seemed like this good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're right. It was between, I think, the steroid, it was the McGwire versus Sosa home run race. Me knowing who Ken Griffey Jr. was to a certain degree because they just
I agree with that too, because when I played baseball as a kid you're right, when you played baseball as a kid,
backwards hat,
you wanted to be either Ken Griffey Jr., you wanted to be Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa. That was for me, those three.
Yep, absolutely correct. And then the Braves, you kept hearing about the Braves, how good they were as a team, the Yankees, and then all of a sudden the Yankees won 4 straight. I'm like, my gosh, that team is cold-blooded. That's when I figured out who Derek Jeter was and
Bernie
Williams, Paul O'Neill, and Roger Clemens and all that stuff. And then I learned about the Boston Red Sox when they started being dominant with Manny and Ortiz,
Mariano Rivera,
and Pedro Martinez and Nomar Garcia Parra. Like, dude, the game was so exciting. Like, to me, like. It doesn't, and I know it doesn't have that same feel for me now than it was then, but I feel like the game is getting in a better place these days, and I'm starting to relearn some of these players again.
And keep in mind, it's a generational thing, and that everything evolves, bro. And so, who's to not say that there's 8-year-olds out there that's not looking at? You see what I'm saying? That's not looking at Mike Trout. That's not looking at
like pictures
Mookie Betts
or Paul
Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, like who's to say that these kids that's 8, 9 years old not looking at them? Right, and when they get older, they be like, okay, I remember when Mookie Betts, I remember when Mike Trout was the best,
Yeah, I remember when Freddie Freeman hit the walk-off grand slam home run in the World Series, like
exactly.
So
exactly, bro.
So I'm starting to have more of a reappreciation, a reintroduction back in the baseball. So it's. I feel like it's getting back to a good place. Like I really feel that way.
That's good, man. I definitely always been a big baseball fan, especially around October. It's always a special time of the year.
Man,
Um,
it's
yeah,
second to
man.
none. October baseball, second to none.
Yeah, man. Nothing like it. And so, like, that's awesome, bro. As for me, I just want to say we got some big national championship games that's going to be happening this weekend. Um, I would love to just see South Carolina pull it out, man. That would be a great up. It would be great. It would just be great, and it would help cement her legacy even more. Because I know people did not pick South Carolina going into this tournament. They didn't, and so if they come out, that will be a great testament to the coaching job with Don Staley, bro. So that's going to be highly intriguing. And then let's see if the National Player of the Years, number 1 and 2, if they can battle it out and see who's the best player in college basketball in the national
Man,
championship on the biggest stage for all the marbles.
man, I'm excited.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
last thing
yeah.
I'll say with that is, I know people, there's some people out there, the narrative that it's been a boring tournament. I don't think so. I think,
Mm,
I mean, it hasn't been the quote unquote Cinderella and the buzzer beaters, but I feel like you are getting the best basketball possible because the best teams are still in there. That's
right.
I'm excited to see that. I'm not about to see no freaking blowout. I don't think I'm gonna see a blowout, but either way, I'm gonna see some high IQ basketball here. So
Exactly. From very high quality programs. And so, yeah, man, very good point. And so, with that being said, bro, appreciate you as always, man.
yes,
What a
sir.
great conversation. Um, and with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, and before we get to that, we got a guest next weekend. Jamar, he'll be coming from the West Indies as well. He's a basketball savant, and so we're gonna be talking some NBA playoffs, a lot of basketball next week as well. And so, with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you are, would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We are here and would love to do so with you. Your love support is truly appreciated, and we hope you all have a blessed and safe weekend. Peace.